6:49, it is week one of the fall veto session for Illinois lawmakers. They've already voted to let utility companies raise your electricity rates. What else are they doing this week? Well, Ben Yount joins us now from Illinois Statehouse News live via Skype. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Chad.
So what are lawmakers up to this week?
Well, this week is preparation. Most of the big votes will come, not next week, it's an off week, but the week after that, and there you'll see some issues dealing with the governor's budgetary vetoes. You'll also see him address gaming if there can be a deal, but you also may see some other issues. We're waiting for a deal as to whether or not the lawmakers will start to roll back some of Illinois' recent corporate income tax increases, or at least give a few companies a break. But this week, all of the action, all of the focus has been on the smart grid proposal, which Governor Pat Quinn had jammed back in his lap yesterday, and now the governor is 0-1, and he doesn't look like he's going to pick up any wins at all during this veto session. It's been a very, very bad fall for the governor.
How effective is this veto session this year? Is work expected to actually be done that's going to help the people?
This is a very, very busy veto session. Traditionally, veto is exactly what its name implies, that lawmakers pass bills in the spring, the governor then has his way. Sometimes he will totally veto them, sometimes he'll line item veto, or he'll amendatorily veto. That's where he takes a piece of legislation. So I don't like that. I would rather do this and present it back to lawmakers. Those kind of amendatorily vetoes are very, very, very rarely accepted. Lawmakers are becoming fiercely protective of their right to write bills. But this has been a very, very busy veto session, and as you've talked about, this notion that power companies across the state are now going to get to raise your electric rates, that has dominated this first week of discussion, and really we've seen some nasty back and forth at the Statehouse.
All right, what about the RLE pays? I know that was big going into this week, but it seems to be overshadowed a little bit by the electric increase.
Yeah, anytime you give Ameren and ComEd power to just automatically start charging people more, that's going to grab more attention than 44 people. But the ROEs will likely walk out of this veto session here in another week or so with a paycheck not only guaranteed for the rest of the fiscal year through the end of June, but all of that money that they should have gotten since the beginning of July. That's got to be great relief to those folks, though they shouldn't get too comfortable. When we come back in January, there are certain to be discussions as to, one, whether or not they are actually needed, two, who will pay them in the future, and three, if there's a way that perhaps the RLEs can have some of their duties relieved.
Interesting. So next week is an off week, then they come back the next week. What's expected to be big that week?
You're going to see the resolution of the gaming. You're going to see the General Assembly deal with the governor's actual monetary, budgetary vetoes. And that's the $300 million that may keep open some of these state facilities, the Logan Prison up in Lincoln, the Mabley home in Jacksonville. You see a couple of other developmental centers, and there's a prison down, or a youth camp down in Southern Illinois. That's all next week. Those are the tough votes. If you can believe it, ComEd was the smart grid was the easy stuff. They want a few more days, another week or so, to work out the difficult issues.
All right, Ben Yount from Illinois Statehouse News. We appreciate your time and your information, and thanks for keeping an eye on Springfield for us.
Well, thanks for getting me up this early.
All right, you are quite welcome, sir. Have a great day.